Welcome to Slingshot 25 Shotcast, a series of bite-sized podcasts that will feel like an espresso shot straight to your brain. I'm Jackie.
I'm Courtney.
Something we've been thinking about is, well, actually, we promised a follow-up episode on the future of work, and we left you with a giant cliffhanger last time. Mm-hmm. We said that we said leadership's the most important thing that you need to do, and we'll tell you about it later. That's what we said.
We're good like that.
You know, so the saying that comes up for me right away in this space, Courtney, is the more things change,
the more they stay the same.
Right. You know, everything we talked about in the last episode, we talked about technology and mobility and the generations in the workforce. And at the end of the day, it still just keeps coming back to the fact that we are working with human beings.
Yep.
It doesn't matter where they are and what kind of tools we're using to connect to them, and what generation they come out of, and all of that. The complexities. When you twist all those things together, the world just gets more and more and more complex every single day. And that's the world you're leading in. If you are a leader listening to us right now, that's the world you're leading in. And so we thought it would be helpful to take you back to what we call the truth beneath everything. Sort of. I've gotten to say through the years, there's only so much truth in the world. It's the stuff that's at the bottom of everything. And when things seem really complex and you're trying to figure stuff out, trying to figure out what do I do when these things happen, sometimes it's really helpful just to go right back to those essential truths or those foundational things. And so we'd like to share those with you on this episode, sort of take them one by one. We have 4 sort of essential skills that we'll talk about. You can think about them in many ways, but we're going to share those essential skills with you. And the first one, if it's all right if I get us started, is humility. Now, I wonder if any of you out there are thinking, oh, dang, I was hoping she wasn't going to say that. I really like thinking about myself. I thought
everyone out there was singing, oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble, but okay.
Well, maybe they are. But if they're a Gen Z or millennial, they've never even heard of that song.
Dang it,
Courtney.
Aging myself.
So humility, and my favorite definition of humility, and I think it really speaks for itself, is humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's not about, thinking you're not good enough or you're not worthy. That is not the definition of humility. I think people do kind of get it conflated with that sort of thinking, the aw shucks kind of thinking. It's not. It's actually thinking of yourself less. It's about frequency. It's about how often in every situation that you're in, are you thinking about yourself? Are you thinking about how you're feeling and what's going on with you and what's going to happen to you next and what does this mean to you? And it's that. It's how often are your thoughts actually self-focused? And so humility, that essential skill that's going to help you out in every single situation that you're in, is rule number 1, stop thinking about yourself. So that's my first essential skill. What have you got, Courtney?
Well, I think once you have that, the next place you go is start to think about others, which is the second skill, is curiosity. Can you get yourself to a place where, without judging, without reacting, without answering the problem for someone else, like genuinely be curious? And curiosity, we can say, oh, I'm super curious. But the truth is, for human beings, curiosity is hard. Yeah. Our brains like the things we like. We know the things we know. Our egos like having the answer. And so to genuinely be curious, to genuinely hold space for, I don't know, something else is possible, I wonder why that happened, without filling in the blank or rushing to answer, it's actually a tough thing to do. And that's why it's a skill that can be taught. We teach it in our classes. And it's critical if you're going to lead.
Yeah.
It's like you have to understand people. You have to understand where they work. You have to understand their perspectives. You have to understand their motives. And we just want to fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
And there's nothing curious about that.
Yeah. Yeah, filling in the blanks is sort of a natural human thing to do.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Curiosity, a very specific type of curiosity. And I'm not sure if people think of this next skill as a type of curiosity, but it is. And it is the skill of empathy. Empathy is essentially a very specific kind of curiosity about what is the other person that's involved in the interaction with you. What is the other person thinking and feeling? It is just simply allowing that question, that curiosity question to just tickle across your brain. I like to describe it as just, you don't have to ponder it deeply. It's just allowing yourself just a moment's time to think about what might the other person be thinking and feeling. That is essentially what puts you in an empathetic space, an empathetic position. I have a lot of people say to me, how could I possibly know? Well, that's actually a valid question. You can't really know. But I encourage people to guess. And I have a lot of people say, oh, I have no idea. I'm not good at reading other people's emotions. I still encourage people to guess. We've heard of the definition of empathy as putting yourself in the other person's shoes, which is not a bad definition, but I think it's relatively incomplete. It's about really allowing yourself to wonder what might be going on with them, and then doing something with that information, allowing that information to come in to the interaction. Because remember, as we described in the last episode about the work of the future, it is complex and people are all over the place, and I can't give you enough rules and techniques to deal with every single situation. But one of the surest things that will help you out in any encounter that you have with another human being is to think about what they're thinking and feeling in that situation.
Yep. And that's something that we can also learn. The last skill is belief in others. Belief in others, helping other people succeed, knowing that they can. And this skill it boils down first to a choice, choosing to believe that person has within them the skills, ability to be successful. And then second, recognizing that it's your job to help them achieve whatever that thing is. Yeah. Like it's kind of the fourth skill is kind of epitomizes what leaders are paid to do.
Yeah.
Right? Use the resources in front of you. Help them achieve their potential. And the very first thing the skill you have to do that is to believe in them.
I love it.
Believe in them. So that's it.
I love it. So there they all are, the 4 what we call essential truths of leading others: humility, curiosity, empathy, and belief in others. Try those things out, and you're going to find yourself ever ready to deal with the complexities that are coming at you in this constantly changing work of the future. So that's all for this episode of our Shotcast, but we always have a lot more to say. So if you want more, drop us a line at slingshot25.com. Until next time.